right, nice. Alright, so this is day 5 of basically continuing this account growth simulation session challenge, and gonna remove everything from the previous analysis that we have done so then we can start fresh. Alright, so we left off on March 23rd, Monday. We've already done our trades for that day, so we're going to skip over to the next day and we're going to go to London, New York overlap. So we'll start at 5. There you go. So that's when the London, New York overlap starts, and we're going to start our analysis from this point on. Let me also just confirm we're good on YouTube. Perfect. Alright, so let's go ahead and get started. We're going to start off with the weekly time frame and then drop down to some of the lower time frames from there. This week we are now on Tuesday, so still quite early on in the week. We've had a nice top wick rejection previous week, and then came right back down and closed right at this resistance. And right now it seems like we have only been bearish so far. So we're going to mark off that weekly resistance right at that level. And then we have that bottom wick already, but then we also have this previous resistance. So if we're looking for any continued sells, this could be our potential range. And we're going to adjust this as we drop down to lower time frames as well. So you come on to the daily time frame, massive sell-off, and that's where this candle pretty much closed last week on Friday. And then on Monday, this is the candle that we traded. And today so far we have a bit of a top wick, and then price kind of just flipped and then made that little bit of a bottom wick right here. We're still bullish as of right now. So what I'm going to do is create a bit of a zone right into the support. And again, you can adjust this as you drop down to lower time frames as well. Come on to the 4-hour time frame. What we are seeing here so far is we had all this little consolidation, and then we maintained that bullish volume to the upside, came back down. It seems like a bit of a corrective move if we are still respecting this area as resistance. So if I'm going to look for any sell opportunities, given it is 5 o'clock PST, which is 8 a.m. Eastern time on London, New York overlap, that means that we have some sell opportunities that we can take advantage of to come back down into these previous support areas, potentially coming into, what would this be, 39,300 almost. So coming into that area could be a target for any sells. If price maintains above that area and we push back up, then we're looking for clean buy opportunities, and as you can see, there's really nothing stopping us to come back into that 39,600 area almost. Come on here to the 1-hour time frame, and you have this retracement, a bit of a gap that happened here, and then after that, when the market opened up, started pushing right back up after all this little consolidation. And then the hourly time frame is already breaking the previous hourly lows, but again, we're closing above this area. So if I'm going to look for any sells, it would be below this. If I'm looking for any buys, I'm waiting for support to be formed here on some of the lower time frames, and then a continuation back up. You come on to the 30-minute, we have a bullish close here. So you have all this consolidation, and then currently we have this bullish close, and then we're looking for a continued either price breaking these highs and then push back up for any buy opportunities, and we want to test that volume too. If that doesn't happen, then we're looking for sells to come back down. You can also narrow your zone in if you would like. I think I would do, if I was going to narrow it in, bring this in a bit more. So then I'm also encompassing the support areas right here, and then bring it up a little bit more. So this is my actual support. We try to break below it, couldn't do that, came right back up, and then we have majority of the counter closures right above that area. And then 15 pretty much doing the same thing. We're kind of just hanging around here. Any questions about this so far? Pretty straightforward analysis. Perfect. Let's take a look at news. We have some medium impact news coming out in 30 minutes. And then you have consumer confidence coming out after that, which is the high impact news. I'm going to skip to get as close to that 5:30 mark because that's what we want to be trading. Let's see if we can actually get some reaction out of that news. So we still have some bearish closures, not a lot of volume here so far, but price breaking the highs and lows. That's the first 15 minutes of this London-New York overlap. You check the 5-minute, not much going on here yet. Ten minutes before news comes out, and we're still kind of hugging around the support. Alright, so here, real quick, you had price breaking these previous 15-minute highs right here, but still respecting the initial 15-minute candle that we're looking at. And then this one here, it seems like a bit of a top wick, but let's see if we can actually break below these lows or not. Once again, you can continue to adjust your levels too if you want as new candles are being formed. So here, for example, I would bring it right around here based off of these new candle closures. So if price can break below some of this, then we're looking for potential sells to come back down. So you're getting some volume there. I'm going to check that 5-minute first. I'm going to see a clean closure, or at least a break of this zone. So I'm just seeing and testing the volume and seeing if it can break its own low here. As soon as it does that, that would be an entry that I take. Just so we're avoiding any sort of fake out here again. And news did come out. So we had a bit of an increase in the core durable good orders. And then we're expecting 1.2%, but we ended up getting a lot higher than that. And then you have continued news in the next 30 minutes too. Alright, we're pushing down, but I want to see it break its own low. Alright, so this is somewhere where I would take that sell. And then let's say probably keep the stop loss somewhere around here. And then TP, we're going to use higher time frames. So coming on to the hourly, that hourly is also breaking the previous hourly lows here. So we know at the very bare minimum it's going to come to that 1-to-1, but we also do have a gap right here. So I think ultimately we'll target here, but as price keeps moving, we're also going to evaluate the overall market volume and the candle structures, and if need be, then we'll adjust our trade according to that. But there is a gap that the market still has to come and fill, so we're going to target that. Ultimately, we're going to go for that almost 4-to-1 risk to reward. And then this one, I'm just going to bring that up a little bit more, just to give it some more room to breathe. Let's do that right there. And basically confirming both of my levels across all the different time frames. So you have the daily, you have the 4-hour that is now bearish, 1-hour time frame, zoom in a bit more, the top wick rejection right around there, which is sitting right on top of this hourly consolidation here too. 30-minute, so right on top of that 30-minute, previous 30-minute, and then you got the 15 right there. Adjust that. Any questions about this entry, stop loss, TP area before I press accept and then we continue? All right. Yeah, a bit of a gap down happening here on the 5 minute. And then 15 is still quite bearish. And then next news point is going to be in 20 minutes. So we still have some time to test out volume here. And you're about to get that 15 close here in about 5 minutes. The 5 minute time frame still breaking lows, still creating lower lows and lower highs. So that previous 5 minute candle did end up closing bullish, but we broke the previous lows here and we're still maintaining that bearish structure. So at this point, basically we were trading the technical setup, but also the actual news release too. Even if it was low impact, we were able to couple that up with the market volume. So it's still a penny lot, you can't take partials on that. So far all the trades that we have taken have been penny lots. But we're still seeing pretty good account growth so far. I think before we started, we're sitting at like a 17% account growth ever since we started the account. So what we can do at this point is only manage our stop loss or just close out the trade. So you got a nice strong 15 close below that area. The 30 is still open, and then the hourly is also still showing you volume. So at this point, if you had anything bigger than a penny lot, you would probably be taking partials. We're not going to do anything just yet because that was a strong level. So I do want to see some sort of a retest or something like that, just even like a bullish candle closure, even if it's below that zone, and then a continuation down. That way we have enough volume in the market to come back and fill in this gap and also trail our stop loss, move to break even, manage our risk basically. And if you guys want, feel free to hop in and take trades as well. Everyone that's on Zoom. Got a minute left before another 5 minute closure. And then the next news is going to be in 10 minutes. So I still got a bearish close right here. We're still not managing the trade here just yet. I'm going to do skip just so we get to the news part. So you got news release right here and HPI, some low impact news. Overall, we're still sitting in the positives for the most part. And this is 30 minutes before New York Stock Exchange open, and I don't think we have anything else coming out for another hour or so. So you guys cool with me skipping through to get to the New York Stock Exchange open?
Yes.
Perfect.
Sure. Yeah.
So still getting strong closures, and here is that New York Stock Exchange open. So even here, we're still below that area. So that's the first retest that we got. If this candle comes back and closes back down bearish, And we're still testing the volume, right? So you're still looking at lower time frames. But for the most part, we're still closing below that. So I think we're still good for the most part. Alright, you got your closure there. And 15-minute is still pushing. So that is basically a retest, push down, a retest. So your TP hit right there. And then let's see if price is going to continue pushing. But the main thing for setting that TP here was that gap. So anytime there's a gap, the market is always going to come back and fill that. 30-minute and 1 hour.
Feature.
Yes.
Would you have adjusted the TP after seeing the retest on the 15-minute?
Yeah, probably bring it down more, but this is a level that we have marked off from higher time frames.
Okay.
So that's why I would be a bit more careful. So like even on the 4 hour, making sure that, you know, we don't just end up getting stuck in some sort of a consolidation or something like that.
Okay.
Here.
Yeah, because we're testing 4-hour support, so.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
And for the most part, I mean, the trade was, you know, taken off like technical confirmations, but for the most part, looking at news too, we're getting a lot of positive news, right? So like core durable good orders increasing, that's pretty good. Durable good orders. So I'm expecting price to bounce off of these areas pretty soon because you have positive news. Like why would US30 be keep selling, you know, for deeper moves? So that's another concern too. So just looking at data points, but also the technical setups.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, for sure. So I think so far we've gotten close to almost 6 to 7% increase off that one trade. From what we had started, I think we started off with 17 point something percent, and we're sitting at 24. So you have either what you can do is call it a day at this point, or you have one last attempt for the day. So we have news coming out in 15 minutes, so we can wait to see. At this point, the gap has been filled. Price is kind of just respecting the support area, it seems like. So we can see what the news release is going to be, and if we have an opportunity, we can probably use our second attempt as well. And if not, and we just see that price is kind of just hanging around this area, then we probably won't be taking a trade, and then we'll skip over to the next day. Yeah, tomorrow's going to be, like, there's pretty much no news coming out, so tomorrow's going to be purely technical move as well. And then things pick up on Thursday with employment data. So let's skip. And now this is 5 minutes before news release. We had a massive push down and then rejection right into that 4-hour level that we had marked off. Based off the 5-minute time frame, price is pushing back up. So let's see if we have that continued volume. If we see more bearish pressure to the downside, then that would be another entry that we can take. If price simply respects this and then pushes back up, that could be another entry. But the main point here is understanding the limitation of your trade, because as we come onto higher time frames, you're sitting in this consolidation. So that's the limitation of our trade here. Alright, so 2 minutes before this candle closure and actual news release. Alright, so that 15 closed bearish, and then you had news come out. So we're sitting around the same levels as previous. Nothing has really changed. We're forecasting that there was going to be an increase in that consumer confidence. Not so much, but we're sitting around the same level, so we haven't really dipped. So let's see how price reacts here. What I would want to see is like 5-minute candle closure here, for example, below this area, and then the next one taking us even further down, and that could be a potential entry that we can take. That would be more like an impulse entry, and then take it down. So because based off of higher time frames, there's really nothing stopping you from coming all the way down here. The only thing is that 4-hour support right here. So if we don't get candle closures below that area, we're not looking for an entry, because we can get stuck in a situation like this. On the other hand, if this candle, closes bearish or flips back up and closes bullish, as soon as price kind of breaks these highs, then that's a buy opportunity that we can take at the bare minimum up here. And then if we see continued volume, then we can increase it here, but that only depends because we would be on the charts for another maybe an hour and a half to 2 hours. So if we get that continued volume between that time frame, then we can continue to increase our TP. If not, then we're not looking to increase our TP or even take the trade. So this is not a candle that you would take an entry on anyways. It's breaking the highs and lows, but we're starting to see a lot more bullish volume, it seems like. You got a 15 bullish close here, breaking the previous 15-minute highs. So if this candle can break that high, I think we can take that entry. So somewhere around here, maybe just a little bit more. Alright, so somewhere around here, we're already breaking the highs. Let's target first the stop loss. I think somewhere around here. That previous support, that resistance for all of this, and right underneath the current 15-minute. And then you can go for that 1.45 to 1, or you can increase it a bit, get closer to that 2 to 1. We'll test the volume. I'll keep it right here, but we'll test the volume and then adjust our TPs as we need to. Any questions about this entry before we accept and move on? We're good?
Sorry, are you basing it off the rejection of the 4-hour support that it's coming off?
Yeah, rejection of the 4-hour support, that 15-minute bullish closure, and then the current 15 also breaking the previous highs.
And you did look at the volume coming on the 5-minute as well?
Yeah, right here.
Okay. Okay, thank you.
Yep. This is basically your zone-to-zone trading that you're doing, as long as you're understanding that overall time frame. If you're looking at it, it's in consolidation. So you can still take advantage of a trade like this as long as you understand what the limitation of your trade is, which means that what are the levels with the highest probability of price bouncing off of them, and you're staying within that range. So like for example, I wouldn't take a sell here and expect it to completely melt down when I know for a fact that there's a gap right here in orders, but then you also have that as the 4-hour support. So we're trading basically resistance to support, support to resistance within that consolidation. But if that's something that you kind of struggle with, then you wouldn't be trading in consolidation. You're just going to wait for price to completely break out of that. So these are still scalping opportunities that you can take advantage of.
Makes sense.
So doji bearish closure and then price pushing up still. So we have another 5 minutes until this 30-minute closure and the 15. Alright, we're pushing. I'm just going to do next bar to see how this 5-minute closed. So for me to adjust my TP now, what I would need to see is price breaking these highs, and then I know that we would have enough volume to at least continue to the top of this range, and that's when I would increase my TP. If price kind of just hangs around here for, let's say, until this 30 closes or that 15 closes or anything like that, and we're not really breaking these highs, then I would just keep the TP at the level that's at the moment. And I think it's still a penny lot, so you still can't take partials here. Closed bullish. We're not breaking the highs, but we still closed bullish here, so we're still going to test the volume. The 15 closed with some good bullish volume, and then that 30-minute pretty much retraced this entire bearish candle. And there's nothing else coming out today. Let's see if this candle can flip and break these highs. So on the 5-minute, it's still closed like a doji, but still bullish volume. And now we're seeing, waiting to see if price is still going to break these highs here. We still clearly have a lot of bullish pressure. And then if I increase my TP, then I'll also move to break even. We have 2 minutes until this 5-minute closes. And we haven't really broken the previous highs here yet either. But we're testing them. Alright, so now that we're breaking those highs, let's adjust our TP. So we're somewhere around here. Bare minimum, we know that we can come probably somewhere around here. Yep. So accept that. And then I'll move to break even when this 15 closes. So I want the candle to close at least, and then we'll move to break even. Pushing. We got that 15 closure. And then move to break even. We're not trailing it just yet either. And so even here, let's say if this 15 flips and breaks that previous high, you can still continue to increase your TP if you'd like. So at this point, the next level would be that level that we created off of higher time frames, which is at 39,400 area here almost. But I would personally just keep it at this level because we would be done trading anyways in like maybe half an hour or so. And it's my like second attempt already. We've already taken a first profitable trade, and we're already in profits with this one too. Right, 30 seconds, and then you get a 5-minute closure. It's a closed bearish, but still above this area. So let's see if this next one can break those highs and push. Alright, so we're breaking those highs and we're pushing. So this is a type of setup where if you wanted to, you could increase your TP. And the 15 already gave you a massive bottom wick, so we know that it will have enough volume to at least come up top here. I'm just going to keep it at the level that we're at because it's the second attempt and we've already have a profitable trade. Any questions about any of the entries so far? Or how we manage the trade or anything?
No, it's quite clear.
Perfect. Alright, you have a 5-minute bullish closure, and then potentially this should be the one that takes us out if we have enough volume. Alright, so that one takes you out. So we're up. We started off with 17%, like today, and then with those two trades we're up with a total of 30%. So we got, just over 10% equity increase. I'm gonna skip just to see how far this is gonna keep going. And this is the rest of your session. Yeah, so it seems like we wouldn't have really gone that far, besides past that level, but that's it. So far, looking at our trades, we're going to look at the stats. So far, all of our sizes have only been a penny. And based off of that, like, we have still been able to make pretty good profits. Made around $300 on that $1,000 account. We're sitting at a 50% or like an equal, pretty much. We've taken 10 trades, 50% profit, 50% loss so far, but still sitting in the overall 30.48% equity increase. So I'm going to save this and then we'll continue this next Friday. So those would be basically how you would be trading, or I would be trading, like every single day with your 2 attempts, where we have some buy opportunities. Sometimes you get 2 in a row, sometimes you only get 1 opportunity. Sometimes you'll get the opposite, so you get a sell and a buy. So it just depends on just looking at it from a very analytical way, but also like what is the technical analysis and the candle structures telling you. I hope this is helpful so far and gives you an understanding of pretty much account growth. So even though we're just doing penny lots, we're still able to get, pretty good account growth so far. If you guys have any questions, as always, feel free to reach out and let me know, and I'd be happy to answer any questions. I'll see you guys next week on Friday, and then for you guys here on Zoom, we'll see each other tomorrow for the boot camp.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, have a good one.